Yeah, I should talk about all those guys who get money from Enron. Thank you. What you doing here? Who are you with? Oh, National Public Radio. You affiliated with Salvation Army?
No.
Community Chest? Red Cross? March of Dimes?
You know what?
Then you're familiar with the Land Shark? I won't talk to you.
All right.
No, I'll talk to you.
All right.
What do you want to know?
I'm wondering, are you planning to come this afternoon? Are you planning to fight this further? Any thoughts of resignation?
Is that a question?
Well, there are other people asking.
I'm going to confer with my legal advisor, Mr. Bertrand de Souza. And after I confer with Counsel de Souza, I will decide whether or not I will distill and digest more of this assassination, or if I will just constipate over it and extricate all that which I feel is unfair.
So, any chance of your resignation?
Why do you keep using that word? Do you really think I would resign? Really? Now, if you thought I would resign, then you'd believe that Anthony Bucci owned me, wouldn't you? Get out of my face. And National Public Radio, if you let them get away with this, someday they'll come into your own bedroom and monitor your sexual activities. Get out.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
Can I get a picture with you?
I'd be honored. You ain't getting shit. Anybody else? Come on in there, big guy. Who do you work for?
Congressman Riley.
You tell him, watch, man, you get that Chirpy's canary disease, his appendage will fall off if votes against me.
Thanks, sir.
Anybody else? Because I'm getting out of here.
Thank you.
Other than that, anything you two Goose members of the press who attempt to act as if you fit in down here, and you don't because of the way you dress, you can definitely tell you're from Youngstown. Well, we can tell you're from Youngstown. Bertram, you could fit in New York, but you were always like that. You're a disgrace. You're disgusting. If I wore that tie, I'd be demeaned for 3 weeks. Chuck, you look ridiculous in what is that? A neon purple tie with suede buck shoes and a button-down collar and shades. And he even has his own little chain around his neck that says he's from the Tribune Miss Chronicle. That's all right. You know, you're all right. Your paper's worth shit, but you're all right.
Are you going to show up this afternoon?
Yeah. Am I going to show up this afternoon? Probably with my 2 hands. I may throw some karate shots in there. Actually, my body is a lethal weapon registered with the SS. I have my own number, Social Security.
Congressman, what will happen if you are...
I don't answer questions from you ever. You have absolutely busted my balloon so many times, you do not deserve a response. Clear your questions with Mr. De Souza.
Well, do you think that that's a valid question, Mr. De Souza? Well, there you go.
Answer the question.
I mean, why not resign and not have to go through the committee?
If I had any inkling of guilt or intent to commit a crime, I would. But I want to go down on record and go to jail rather than admit to something I didn't do. And when there's no physical evidence whatsoever showing that I've been targeted from the highest levels, the administration wanting me out, Janet Reno and the statements I made about her, quite frankly, I'm going to fight these bastards. And if they expel me, I'll only be, only the second one since the Civil War. But keep this in mind, the other one took money from an Arab sheik that was captured on a videotape.
Congressman Traficant, you said if they go ahead with this that you may start to talk about some of the other things you know.
Well, the other things I know, I would never talk about other members. Some of the members and the things they do are their business. There are always different standards. There are some members that are beyond reproach. and they have strong ties to the administration. I think the administration makes deals, no doubt about it, to protect certain members. I have always really, truly been an independent, even though I've been a Democrat down here. But I voted for what I think was best. I brought back $1.3 billion that wasn't asked for by anybody but me. I riled a lot of people to do it. I destroyed appropriation bills. They now have what are known as Traficant rules, so you can't destroy appropriation bills. And I manipulated the variables of operating in Congress from a very early start because of the fact that my area was so really hurting with a 22% unemployment rate, and I felt that I had to do something unusual, unorthodox, and had no political support and no news and media support.
But even if you think it's unfair what they're doing,
I would never talk about anybody else. Now, there's a lot of money and gifts for the senator's girlfriend and a lot of bullshit like that, and I'm just not going to get into that. I mean, those people someday should have to answer for that. But I think that now if we look at Enron and some of the other things that are happening around the country, they're big favors for many big people. I don't know any big people as evidence here. My following has basically been small people, and that's not just trying to sound and get some sympathy here, but I have friends in low places. And the people of the institutions have never supported me. I've never been supported by the major newspaper in my town, ever. I've never been supported basically by the Ohio Democrat Party that didn't want me. The congressional delegation when I was elected actually come out anonymously and said they didn't want me. I don't think anybody wanted me. And quite frankly, I think the Democrats right now, the leadership is very wimpish. I don't think they know what the hell they're doing. They should have never lost the House. And I think they've created 50 years of laws that now have to be reversed. I've reversed most of them. I take great pride in the fact that every American could know that the burden of proof in a civil tax case was changed because of Jim Traficant. And Bill Archer, Republican, made that happen. No longer can they come in and seize your home. The seizures of homes dropped from 10,067 to 51 in 50 states after my legislation was approved in the 98 Reform Bill.
Congressman, will you...
Wait a minute. I also made it available that if you're abused by the IRS, you could sue them for $1 million. And I'm not done yet. And I may survive this. And if lightning strikes, I will attend the America First Party in Orlando, Florida, even if I violate the law and they take me away in chains, and address the National Convention in Orlando on the 15th of August.
So how do you think? What do you mean you may survive this? You have resigned yourself to expulsion. You've said so.
Don't use the word resign. I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably going to expel.
Okay.
I have nothing against Congress, but Congress probably does what they think is the best for themselves. And I don't blame anybody for expelling me. After all, I'm the kind of candidate that looks to be expelled. I'm very dangerous. I open my mouth, I speak to what I think happens, and it bothers people, and I won't stop doing that.
Do you feel like the Democratic Party hung you out to dry here?
Well, again, I am an independent. The Democrat Party knows that. The Republican Party knows that. And I am probably the true independent in the history of Congress. I came down here as an independent. Party labels have never really meant anything to me. I believe the Democrat Party failed when they turned their back on Jim Wright. I think the Republican Party showed loyalty when they saved Newt Gingrich on the same type of problems. I lost tremendous amount of respect for Democrats who tried to advance their own cause by eliminating Jim Wright, who I thought was an effective speaker, and I think his problems were not worthy of his being dismissed. And finally, when the Democrat Party themselves did not insist upon an investigation, as I recommended, through both the caucus and on the House floor, of that Red Chinese Army general transferring cash to the Democrat National Committee that could ultimately endanger the future of America, I felt there was no hope left, and Washington was nothing but a political cesspool. And something had to be done. I believe, and I will say this because I don't know how much of an opportunity forum I have to say this, that America's future is endangered by that. I think Janet Reno was compromised, and she did commit treason by not in fact enforcing and calling for an investigation into that Chinese money ordeal with the Democrat National Committee, and I completely was soured on the Democrats after that.
And that's why you think they're coming after you.
No, I'm not saying anybody's coming after me for anything. I mean, the Justice Department knew what they're doing. They had a bullseye on my back for years. They went and visited a guy 15 years ago on a horse transaction. Mr. Detour put it down. They talked about Reno and the administration getting me out. Be advised, I guess, the administration